So Alia, what'd you do before a Sutton-Bey?
What didn't I do before a Sutton-Bey? Oh gosh, right out of high school, after my first year of college, I took a gig as an artistic director touring Europe with some teenagers, doing Duke Ellington sophisticated ladies. And, that was my life. And then when I got off the plane and came home and told my mom, I'm going to New York. This artistic thing is going to take off for me. And my mom was like, that la-di-da was really nice, and I hope you had a good time, but you have an interview at Parks and Recreation on Monday. Ask for Frank Tyson. And so that started my journey. And then the next 19 and a half years, I worked for the Philadelphia Department of Parks and Recreation as a recreation leader. And so I did all the recreation leader stuff. But because I was an artist, I was able to teach dance classes and put on theater productions for young people that under normal circumstances would not have had access. And it was also what I was seeing in those communities that taught me to, brought me to mental health. And then I started, rec centers are open from 2 to 10. And so I wasn't doing anything from 9 to 1. And I got this real thing about being lazy. So I started working in the public schools as like a one-on-one, a TSS worker, then went on and got my master's degree and became a behavior specialist. And I did that for 15 years in conjunction with working for Parks and Rec. Went back to school to attempt to get a PhD. It's a very hard process, let me tell you. Did 4.5 years and decided that I was tired, and so I dropped out. But at that point, I realized that my life needed to take a change, and that mental illness wasn't necessarily the ill that was harming our community, but poverty was. So I wanted to take a different direction, and so I got into workforce. And so I got into workforce, and then just kind of landed into tech, and so started doing workforce learning in tech, and that kind of laid the ground for the consulting business in terms of being able to help companies do work-based learning and internships and apprenticeships and things of that nature. So that's how I got here.
What are you doing now with a Sutton-Bey?
So A Sutton-Bey is me, right? Because I am my brand. So it's all of the things that I'm doing. Primarily, of course, I'm doing coaching and consulting, but I also have a radio show, Community Connections with Alia Sutton-Bey, because I believe all of us have a story. So I'm not looking for the famous person to come on my show. I'm looking for the everyday person to come on my show. I'm looking for young entrepreneurs to come onto my show. And so we do that every Monday from 6 to 7 on spiritualconnectradio.com. I am launching this meetup that I started, Meetup to Support and Buy Black. And it's just a group of us getting together to bring cash infusion, 1 day of cash infusion into a Black business, particularly on their slowest days. So a lot of our events will be held on Wednesdays, to come out and support and buy Black. Not just Black people support and buy Black, but all people support and buy Black. Black doctors, Black lawyers, they primarily are reliant upon Black people to support them, but what would happen and what would their businesses look like if all people supported Black business? So meet up to support and buy Black. And so those are the things that I'm doing now. You could also engage me. I do some panel moderating to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've been a trauma-informed practitioner for 15 years. So I infuse that into my work. And that is really just about us collaborating and treating each other with love and respect.